Well, a distinctive brand here at Motorcycle Live with a distinctive stand, it's fair to say, is Kawasaki. I'm joined by Martin Lambert, who is the UK Communications Manager for Kawasaki. Martin, what a fabulous stand you've got here.
It is a fabulous stand in terms of a lot of people come onto the stand and say straight away, oh, this is the Kawasaki stand, because of the branding, because of the black and green, which is the the corporate identity for Kawasaki. So straight away they recognise it's Kawasaki. They look at the range of the bikes for 2013. They're not forgetting there's a recession on or times are difficult, but they're seeing a fantastic range of bikes for next year.
Now, we all know Kawasaki do sports bikes really well. We also know they do powerful bikes very well. But over the last few years, you've developed the brand to offer something for every age and experience of rider, haven't you?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it's not as if we've ignored that traditional base of Ninja owners, which are very precious to us, but it has expanded and it's reflected the market and tried to lead the market. I'll give you some examples. The naked sector, for instance, that has really boomed in the last couple of years, hence the fact that we've introduced the Z800 and also the Z800E version. Equally, adventure sport area is one of the ones that is faring well in the recession, so we've expanded into that. Our philosophy is very much like Team Green with the motocross bikes we do. We want to create a ladder of opportunity. What that means is basically your first bike can be a Kawasaki, your second and third and fourth bike. So if we get you first, we're going to do our very best to keep you.
And you're also doing your very best to capitalise on these new regulations that are coming out next year in, I believe, beginning of January, aren't you? Yeah,
the A2 licence is something that is coming to us obviously from Europe. It's a directive and we've been very proactive on that. So the Z800E, for instance, for the right age group of people, that can be their first bike. Equally, the new Ninja 300 is another example of a bike which conforms to A2 legislation, and so long as you fit the right criteria for the age group or whatever, that also can be your first bike. So you can have an entry-level Ninja as your first ever Kawasaki.
And what a fantastic looking bike that is as well. We've got some shots of that as we're talking, but really good looking bike, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, the interesting thing about the Ninja 300 is previously, companies like to put things into categories. It's almost like music, where you say exactly what category is that in. With the Ninja 300, it's difficult to categorise because you can say, right, that's a bike for somebody that's just coming into biking. That's a bike for somebody who wants to maybe trade down a little bit. They might find bikes heavy for some reason. It's also a bike for people who might not be quite so tall. It's also a bike that women can ride. So it's very dangerous to categorise bikes like that. It makes life difficult for us because we're going after 5 or 6 different markets, but it's a fantastic way of getting into Kawasaki.
Perhaps it's also difficult to categorise because nobody else is doing it quite like you are.
No, I mean, there are some great examples. The Ninja 300 was born out of the Ninja 250. We kind of rediscovered or recreated the 250 market, and everyone went, blimey, we need to be in that. So we became market leaders in that. In the same way that with the Z800, for instance, the forebear to that, the Z750, was the highest selling Kawasaki in Europe ever. That's notching up near 150,000 units. So it's a very important bike to us. So it's very incumbent on us to create a successor to that would carry on that huge popularity.
I think huge popularity is the word, because looking at the brand, you definitely sit alongside the likes of BMW and the brands in this country, Triumph and things like that, rather than the other Japanese manufacturers, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's our intention to continue this brand development. That what you see, the image of Kawasaki, you'll see that in every dealership. So the dealerships are very consistent. So you see that whole Kawasaki image coming through. And really, by migrating or distancing ourselves away from the other Japanese manufacturers, strange enough, we migrate towards BMW, KTM, Triumph and people like that. And actually we see that as our logical place to be.
Yeah, just very quickly, there's a very special bike, very important bike to you behind as well, the 636. Just talk to us a little bit about that one.
Well, the ZX6R is 636 cc's this year. Now, we have had that capacity before, but we returned to it this year because although it's a market that's been very important to us in the past, Supersport market is a difficult market in the UK in the moment in terms of sales. So if you're going to try and sell a bike into that market, it has to have everything loaded on it. And the ZX6R for this year has got everything on it. So for an example, it's got traction control, it's got power mode selection, it's got the option of ABS brakes, it's got more power, more torque, big piston forks. I could go on all day, but the key thing is that it's been transformed into a bike that's primarily for the road and can be ridden on the track. previously ZX6Rs were primarily for the track and could be ridden on the road. Actually, the customers spend most of their time road riding. So from that point of view, although it's a competitive market, we are determined to still be leaders in that supersport market. And I think with the ZX6R 636, we stand a fair chance of still dominating that supersport end of the category.
I think you might be dominating a few more as well. Kawasaki's definitely a brand that's moving forward. So thank you for talking to us, Martin. It's great to see you here.
It's been a pleasure.
So that's Kawasaki, and this is the Z1000, a very special bike. But there's one that's a little bit more special still that I'd like to show you. Come with me. So this is a very special one-off Z1000 Kawasaki made by Kawasaki Motors Italy. Sadly, it will never go into production, but it's very nice to look at all the same. We did ask on your behalf, but they said no. So you'll have to make do with the standard Z1000, which actually is a pretty nice bike, it has to be said. That's all we've got time for here at Motorcycle Live 2012 on Motorpoint TV. We've met some fantastic people from the world of motorcycling, Charlie Borman and Simon Pavey, Dakar legend, just to name a couple. We've also had a look at what the 2013 models look like from all the top manufacturers, from your point of view as a rider and an enthusiast. If you've enjoyed our coverage, make sure you check out the website or follow us on Twitter to find out where we'll be next. Thank you for watching.